He's a proper gentleman, that man. His name is Zolf. No hiding he's an Ura. Folks like him ain't never been a common sight in Caelondia. He's relieved to see a living face or two. The kid and I introduce ourselves in kind. Both to him and to each other for the first time. We fought the Ura decades ago, but that was then. Things are different between us now. For Zolf, Caelondia was like a second home. He's real worried about his first home, too. Far to the east. We all lost loved ones in the calamity, he says. I don't know how I'm gonna go on without mine. Zolf offers to help me plot the skyways for the kid. At least the calamity hasn't touched the stars, he says. He was born in the Tazzle terminals. The Ura sent him on a mission of peace to our city, and he's lived here ever since. The cores, they remember. That's why this place is coming together. That's why things are gonna be all right. Well, look what we have here. The Bastion's a place of peace, but we can hold our own if we have to. The Repeater and Machete, favorite choices of the Ura hunters we once fought. Cinder brick stout sure goes down smooth, then stays in your gut like a rock. We tracked down a couple more cores near the edge of the city. The gods, they're all undone. Folks used to make pilgrimage here to pay their respects to Pith, Bull, Pith Orchard. The place is a dead end in more ways than one. Well, the gods are long gone now, and the Orchard core is long gone too. Seems Pith ain't much of a watchdog. The gods don't care about trinkets, but the kid ain't no god. Pith stood for something once. Something real. In time, though, the bull stopped being a symbol and started being decoration. Pith makes a decent scarecrow, at least. Then Pith lights up like a rodeo. Kid breaks him to bits. Must have been guarding that shrine. So what'll it be? Invoke the gods? Or tell them off? Kid don't need favors from the likes of Pith. Well, if the gods are alive, they must be plenty sore. Popping windbags is hard enough. the gods can make it even harder. Things might have gone worse if Kid kept tampering with that shrine. Kid ain't found a core, but at least he found Zolf's precious shrine. Zolf doesn't touch the thing. Says the god of commotion is no children's toy. The Ura feared the gods. We turned them into toys, put their faces on our walls. The accused always got a fair shake in Caelondia. Some used to take the bullhead trial. Survive the trial without taking a scratch, you'd walk away a free man. Bullhead trial taught folks three things. First, a good defense is a good offense. Second, gotta always watch your back. Third, ain't no godlike bull up there gonna save you. Court is back in session for the kid. Old ritual for when folks believed there was this godlike bull watching over them. Had to make do with nothing but a shield. smarter ones knew when to just step aside and let things go. Kid pulls it off like it was nothing. There's a hint of pride in his eye when he gets back, and more than a hint in mine. menders. They had thankless jobs, the most important kind. There's only one way to Cinderbrick Fort. The hard way. Sure, the city marshals may be gone, but now the fort's crawling with windbags. Wham! Kid's ready for the windbags this time. The calamity was mercy for normal folks. The windbags ain't so lucky. They've been left to freeze or starve or face the kid. Well, windbags young and old keep fighting for the fort. At least the marshals left the kid a parting gift. Kid can't hardly tell up from down after a while. Windbags ain't much different from normal folks. All they want's a warm place to stay and a decent meal. Calamity drove the windbags topside. A lot of them wound up here in this very fort. Could have been minding the business underground like in the old days. Windbags can't use the marshal's supplies, but the kid sure can. He stashes the marshal's prize. Goes back to something more his style. Well, the fort ain't theirs by right. Can't blame him for wanting it, though. So many of those sorry things hold up inside that old fort. dirt is plain gone haywire. Windbags gummed up the works. Kid ain't afraid of getting burned. They trapped the kid in the middle of the fort's parade grounds. Then they bring out Glutus and Planton and all their scumbag uncles. Kid takes down Glutus. Maybe it was Glandon. The other big fella soon joins his brother, wherever they are now. The windbags finally get the message. The Skyway's a welcome sight after all that. And now ain't nothing left for nobody down at Cinderbrick Fort. Kid shows up just as Zolf's telling me about his own journey to the city. Zolf's travels ain't much compared to what the kids had to go through for all this. The marshals seem like good men, he says. They treated him with dignity. Zolf brought his antique smoking pipe all the way from the terminals. Even since the Ura surrendered to us, the marshals kept a wary eye on him. The marshals kept the city's peace. They can rest easy now. His bow's looking lean and mean like a prize fighter. Ain't never letting go of his old friend with a sturdy grip like that. Ever felt a Zolwood gourd, like picking up broken glass barehanded? At Zolwood Grove, marshals learned to make every shot count. The trick was to pop all those nasty gourds without wasting ammo. Had to catch a bunch of those gourds in a single shot. Funny thing about muskets is they work best up close. He took a keen eye, not an itchy trigger finger. Marshals did more than just stand around shooting, of course. Seems the only thing the Calamity saved for Zolf was his smoking pipe. want to tune a scrap musket, you start with the barrel. To master the musket, you gotta get rid of the recoil. Kid takes a little personal time for just him and his favorite musket. Plenty of gourds to go around, even now. Marshals like to fine-tune their muskets to get better results. The best of the best clear the course in just a few shots. Kid probably could have made himself marshal one day. The city's unwanted things all met their end in the yard. Folks who fouled up would do their time here, smashing things to bits. The quicker they worked, the sooner they could go. Folks learned to plant their feet and put their backs into it. Others would plot a course to navigate that sea of junk. A good day smashing could feed a family for a week. Kid pays another visit to the scrapyard for old time's sake. Work too slow, and all you got was a sore back. Some folks invested their earnings to forge even better hammers. The strongest, fastest folks earn more than their fair share. The kids worked the yard before, but that time he just plain destroyed it. The Langston River flowed free and wild till the calamity drank it all up. Maybe all that water just grew wings and flew off. Riverbanks swarming with windbags. They're so bent on finding the core, they hardly notice the kid. Lucky for him, a certain famous ferry barge is still afloat. The river ain't never been safe for swimming. She sends some squirts crying home as she leaves port. Maybe Nellie knows the way to the core. Maybe she can slip right past all the clamor on the coast. Or maybe not. The security skiff pulls up portside. Nellie's just another windbag to those guns. Just then, the windbags notice who she's sailing with. They're pretty steamed about what happened at Cinderbrick. They try to cut her off. They try to slow her down. Try to knock her out. Well, Weepin' Nellie tries harder. Try as she might, though, she hits a snag. Kid's gotta help her get untangled. Favors for favors. At least she picked a good spot for a break, because the core's right there. Then the kid hears an unusual sound, like 100 flapping wings. Peckers. They had their own eyes on the core. But why? He finds Weepin' Nellie raring to go. Turns out she's got a special surprise for when the waters get rough. She's gonna need a little help with all them peggers. Crafty things think they're king of the roost now. Rest of us only wish we could fly in times like these. Security skiffs keep on coming to starboard side. Don't seem to care what they shoot, as long as they hit something. The windbag's getting even better idea. They aim to smash Weeping Nelly to splinters. Kid almost falls again. Well, it all proves too much for poor Nelly. She's just gotta make one last stop. With her last breath, Nelly gets the kid to solid ground. Solid ground in Pecker country. They want that core real bad. Might be they want it just as bad as a kid. Kid shoos them off, knowing they'll be back. Know how many times Kid nearly fell off the bars back there? 3 times. Now, listen close. You should remember this next part. Why go to Prosper Bluff? Used to take an enterprising man or a plain old fool to venture out that far. The city was the most beautiful place in the world. We all knew that. But on the other hand, some folks just yearn to see the things they're told they can't. And that's why you go to Prosper Bluff, ain't it? There the kid hears something he ain't heard in a long while. How's it go again? That's the one. Timeless. Well, no point explaining what happens next, right? Suffice it to say, kid ain't coming home empty-handed. And besides, it's like the song goes. They'll be here before too long. We darn near celebrated when the kid got back, didn't we? Zolf never thought he'd see a fellow Ura again. We become fast friends. Calamity has that effect on people. But there was more to be done. There was one last core to find. Kid's surprised when I tell him there's only one core left. I shouldn't have believed it either. The lost and found. Here, kid takes fragments of the old world and makes them whole again. All it takes is some fragments, and the Bastion makes it good as new. If only I'd known half the secrets of the Calamity were tucked away in that book, I'd have worked to translate it right away. A scientific journal written in Zolf's native tongue. He learned so much from it. Too much. We tracked the final core beyond the city to the wilds. The wild unknown. Place can eat a man alive. Place is so raw, even the Calamity couldn't cook it. Not all of it. What's better than having to sling a pistol in a fight? Having two. Savage things lurking at every turn. Pincushions ain't the worst of it either. Pekka's got the core, like they're building a bastion of their own. The welcoming committee scrambles to attention. Didn't expect the kid so soon. They shouldn't have let the guard down. Getting that core was one thing. Getting out's gonna be another. He digs his way out of the clearing, but the wilds won't let him go without a fight. Wallflowers survive the Calamity. Same goes for the kid. Best take it real slow when pincushions are afoot. Slinger Jawson's old outpost is all that's left of him. Kid sticks to his old standbys. A handful of windbag shipments made it out this far. Don't ever turn your back on a pincushion. Kid's roused up half the wild by now. Then Kid gets the feeling he's being watched. Not by me, by a lunkhead. And lunkheads ain't fond of two-legged animals. Jawson's boys left all kinds of stuff out here. By now, Kid's got more needles in him than a stab weed. The wilds already reclaimed this place. he's anxious to get back. After all, he's got the final core. His journey's over, right? Well, no, it ain't. Not by a long shot. Kid knows something's up when we ain't there to give a warm welcome. See, Zolf and I were just wrapping up a heated discussion. Zolf can barely muster the words. The calamity failed, he says, but I will not. And with that, Zolf leaves us here, alone. Most of the Ura never got a taste of Caelondia's fine goods, unless they were born and raised in the city like Zia here. Sure, the world's all gone to pieces farther than the eye can see, but leave it to this gal to point out the amazing view. Girl tried to run away from home one time, but the marshals stopped that, didn't they? So many secrets in there, and she can't even read it. Her father's own journal. When Zolf got through reading that journal, he just snapped. Started smashing up the monument till I tried to stop him. Zolf cursed the city, cursed the Bastion, cursed me, said he was going home. Zolf banged up the monument pretty bad. But there's a way to put her back together. The shards. We're gonna need all of them to nurse the Bastion back to health. Takes a lot of moving pieces to make a dependable sidearm. That ought to give those dueling pistols a little extra kick. The city brought the shards to the wilds. Now the kid's gonna bring them back. You have to think fast to survive the wilds, and none thought faster than the slingers. They could shoot their pistols with the speed of a machine. They knew just when to start shooting and when to stop. Those pistols could spit out rounds just as quick as you could pull the trigger. Learning to hold your fire could be its own challenge. I gotta say, kid's the fastest shot I ever seen. He blew through slinger range like it was nothing. After Zolf's little episode, Kid sets off in search of shards. First stop, Jawson Bog. You'll get lost in that bog, I told the kid, and I won't be able to guide you back. Well, I let him go. What else could I do? What could any of us do? Zolf put us in a real bind. Hurt the Bastion bad. But the shards can make it better. They're like smaller doses of the core's medicine. Shame the only place to fill that prescription is out here in the wilds. This place is intoxicating. Don't know where he's gone. Might be gone for good, for all I know. Wherever he is, somewhere I've never been. Somewhere I never want to go. The dead welcome him with open arms. Kid pops him good. That a survivor? No, ma'am. It's a lonesome ghost of a gas fella. What do you say to a kid who's seen too much? I'm Zolf of the Ura. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Now the kid sees something strange. He finds peckers, lunkheads, wallflowers, pincushions, vine apples, swamp weeds, ankle beaters. Now the Bastion can send him even farther, into the wild unknown. Kid sets foot inside one of Caelondia's famous watering holes. The security's just man of the street. He's a petty thief. Succeeds where the calamity failed. Would you look at what he did to poor old Ronde the bartender? Proper story's supposed to start at the beginning. It's so simple with this one. Now here's a kid whose whole world's alright, snoozing there on a rock in the sky. He wakes up. I'm just fooling. He sees what's left of the rippling walls. Years of work undone in an instant. The gods, they're all undone. He sees what's left of his lifelong friend. His friend, he's come undone too. He sees what's left undone. Near lost my train of thought just thinking about that place. The shard ain't lost either. Not anymore. Now to find a ticket out of this hole. Disgusting things. Ever heard of a lung blossom? It's bigger than the stories say. With breath on that thing. Like a scumbag sprung a leak. They say one whiff of lung blossom can make you lose your mind. Mother only knows what happened in the bog. Kid never much cared to speak of it. A shard is like a poor man's core, but beggars can't be choosers. That's it. A few more shards like that, and we'll be back in business. A single shard can breathe new life into this place. The shard's got enough juice to spruce up any of these places. The dynasty, to the families of the city, all reunited. The inspiration, a forge can fashion anything. The conscience, we haven't lost everything, long as we have that. Finders keepers. The city tried to use the shards to stake out the wilds. So much for that plan. Ankle gators used to roam the wilds, and they nested at Rothes Lagoon. Many a tale folks used to scare their children straight originated here. All kinds of beasts what don't know up from down, still lurking about. These beasts, they don't like company. Even the brushers learned to fear this place. They used to think that ankle gators were extinct. Well, they ain't. One of them's been living in the tall grass. The lagoon's got plenty of other dangers, of course. Turns out Queen Anne got a hold of a shard. Ankle gators love shiny things. Know what smells worse than an ankle gator's breath? The stinkweed. Brushers use their pikes to keep their distance around here. Now the kid can do the same. Most of those peckers are smart enough to stay out of Queen Anne's way. Sharp sticks make Queen Anne nervous, so she backs off a bit. Those pincushions been living off the ankle gator's scraps. Queen Anne can't fit down some of these narrow paths. Queenie leads the kid into some kind of twisted trap. One bad step in that tall grass and he's Queen Anne's lunch. Still no sign of the shard. The closer you get to an ankle gator's lair, the thicker the tall grass grows. Kid's gotta make a run for it. That old gator's right on his tail. Those leaping lunkheads don't like Queen Anne any better than the kid. They make a tasty snack. Queenie must have scared a bunch of peckers out of hiding. Seems even stinkweeds know to stay away from the queen. Ankle gators don't much care for their young. That's why there ain't many around. Wanna know how to find an ankle gator lair? You use a kid as bait. The shard's sitting in plain view. Now she's coming for him. She's got nowhere else to go. They say if you run across an ankle gator, you better keep running. And now he's made her mad. Rest in peace, Queen Anne. That was for the brushers. Kid's done what needed to be done. Queen Anne's reign is over. We even got a crown jewel. All that trouble for a single shard. But you know what? It was worth it. Ain't saying much, but that's the greatest forge in all the city. To fix a brusher's pike, you just need a good length of knife bark. Gotta make sure the pointy end's fastened on real tight. Any brusher's pike can cut to the bone, but that one can cut through it. Takes a careful touch to rattle those bones like that. The city, its riches nothing but fragments now. Sometimes I want to ask him why I do any of this. The truth is, I don't want to know. They said Queen Anne was just a folktale. Now there's living proof she ain't. That Gator's a crazy gal, but so is the gal who promised to look after her. The next shard should be farther out there in the wilds. To prepare for the wilds, Caelondia's brushers practice at Camp Dauncey. Had to navigate a maze of pincushions with nothing but a pike. It's a dangerous test for a dangerous job. Health tonics were off limits at Camp Dauncey. They said they made you weak. Said he couldn't use any fancy footwork, just your brains and your pike. A good enough run at Camp Dauncey could get you promoted to captain on the spot. The wilds ain't so scary now, are they? Know how Caelondia became the richest city in the world? 2 words. Point Lemaine. If the wilds could ever be tamed, it was gonna happen right here. The army's triggers once had the place on lockdown. Kid might as well pick up where they left off. Blam! Just like my fighting days. Gun like that can even put the wilds in check. Point Lemaine seen better days for sure. but it ain't done. The whole place shudders in a fit. The Grand Rail of Point Lemaine, not only is it still there, it still works. Of course, it's no longer shipping hides and alloys and spices, but it can give the kid a lift. Just as long as he can stay clear of the trouble on the tracks. Grand Rail's all grown over with things the Calamity chewed up and spat out. Things eager to take back their turf. Kid don't let so much as one of those things slip by. Lunkheads settled in like they own the place. Takes fancy footwork on the rail, over wallflowers coughing fungus everywhere. Place used to be closed off, but now it's split open like a rotten pineapple. Of course, the Grand Rail's seen much more fighting in bygone times. The Ura-Ceylondian War, 50 years ago, doomed to happen again. It was right here that Zulf's Ura forefathers decided to mix it up. Okay, so maybe we didn't get their sign-off on the whole Grand Rail thing. That was bad. The rail must have shook the Ura to the bone down in those dens of theirs. Well, the rail won't last much longer now that the kid took the shard. It's still got one good run in store for him, though. All the rotten wood there on the rails turned it into swamp weed central. Ever tried dancing side to side while holding your breath? While choking on swamp weed? While peckers trying to prick you in the eye? Well, let me tell you, it ain't fun. But then, at last, it's the end of the line. He'll be picking swamp weed out of those boots for days. Turns out he's got company up at the radio station, waiting for him. Not just another wallflower or pincushion, mind you. At first he thinks it's Zulf. Turns out he's wrong. This is for you, says the man. Then wham! When the kid comes to, the man's long gone. But something else is there. Well, what's a kid to do? He took the shard, he took the hit, and he took that note. That note cuts straight to the heart of things, don't it? It ain't too late to unlock the potential of this place. The arsenal's complete, in case we need protection. Zolf's messenger was one of his people. Wonder just how many of them survived, and what exactly Zolf told him. Finding gourmet ingredients ain't easy these days, but we'll take what we can get. The note says it plain. Zia, go east to learn the truth about the calamity and our people. I'll be waiting. Sincerely, Zolf. He put some finishing touches on the business end of that thing. That's the way to make every shot count. Even the army never issued carbines in such fine shape. Nothing makes a gun so dangerous as a keen eye. Taught him a little something from my days on the front. The shards are getting harder to find. Caelandia's army only took the best, and the best of them trained on Trigger Hill. The Triggers believed they were nothing without their rifles. Nothing beats the feel of shooting a Caelandian army carbine. Sometimes you had to take care to steady your shot. Triggers had clearance to modify their guns however they chose. If you want to master the art of the firearm, then the place to go is Trigger Hill. Sometimes you had to shoot from the hip. Had to keep moving to avoid getting burned. Kid blows through that course like it was nothing. The Caelandian army would have recruited him in a flash. The service For all the men and women who served Caelandia. The Triggers, my brothers, bravest men I ever knew. Not everything blew up in the Calamity. Why, coveted cauldron here blew up way ahead of its time. The cauldron boiled over some 300 years ago. They say it filled the skies with ash and the lakes with molten rock. If you wanted to survive something like that, you had to learn to adapt. So in a way, the beasts of the wilds, they're all survivors too. It takes a certain stubborn pride to keep on living in a place like this. As for us, we learned an awful lot from coveted cauldron. The raw power of the world fell right into our hands. Playing with the cauldron's fires became an addiction. Can't fault our people for their natural curiosity now, can you? Sure, we dusted off a good many secrets out here. But we discovered other things we're better off not knowing. The unforgiving scent of sulfurous dirt. Taste air so hot it sticks to your lungs. All sorts of awful things crawling underfoot. Never thought we'd find so much life in all that ash. Place as inhospitable as they come. But still, we pressed on. After all, when we looked down inside coveted cauldron, looked down through all the smoke and flames, we saw in there the heart of the world. The heart now laid bare by the Calamity. We had to have it. As for the kid, he just has to get that shard out of there. Too bad taking that thing woke up every last stink eye from here to Johnson Bog. Kid's thinking he's got to trek all the way back around the cauldron. Luckily, the cauldron cooked up a little shortcut for him. Sure, it ain't the most convenient path. Biggest stink eye he's ever seen's waiting for him on the other side. Pops open on him like a pimple on a school day. And where there's one stink eye, there's always more. The cauldron's tenants all gather up to bid the kid a fond farewell. The kid don't shed any tears for him, though. With a good spyglass, you can still see the cauldron from the city. But all the fires died out. There's nothing left of it. It comes back looking like the inside of a chimney. The shard works like a charm. You can hear the monument's heartbeat again. We need an awful big lost and found under the circumstances. At least it won't get cold round here with that thing around. On the inside, a fire bellows ain't nothing like its more popular air-spitting cousin. Without an insulated air intake, that thing's liable to blow up on you. That thing wasn't always meant to be a weapon, but there's no denying it now. The culture, a still life of old unwanted keepsakes. We spotted a pecker carrying a shard to Mount Zan. Welcome to Grady Incinerator, home of the hottest wings east of Caelandia. In all seriousness, the incinerator was a dump, and it had a problem with peckers. Blasted things would swoop in and spread trash all around, until we started using fire. We couldn't just torch them all at once. We had to use restraint. Wasn't any other way to teach those peckers some respect. Know how we kept the city clean? We put all our trash in Grady Incinerator. Peckers that flocked together were easy pickings. Keeping the incinerator clean was a paying job, but not a pleasant one. Who knows why we fought so hard to defend our own trash? They said the wild could never be tamed. If only they could see us now. We're all a little short on friends these days, so that's a welcome sight. Kid arrives just in time to sample Zia's famous cooking. The cinders kept the city good and warm, made it thrive. can't rightly call Mount Zand a mountain anymore. There's no more mountains now. There's no place left for the beasts of the wild to go.